Welcome to Mainland Television News. I'm Graham O'Brien, and coming up in this bulletin, Nelson company Frizz O berries causing health problems, Jetstar launch in Nelson, Christmas arrives at Nelson Hospital, and much more. A health warning has been issued by the Ministry for Primary Industry warning people about Nelson-based FSL company brand Frizz O berries after it has been confirmed that Frizz O uses Chinese imported berries and that their products have been contaminated. 4 people have been found to have contracted hepatitis A, with Frizz O frozen berries confirmed as the main suspected cause. The Ministry for Primary Industries has said there was a potential risk of hepatitis being associated with eating imported berries. Social media has received a huge number of comments and complaints, with some saying people should take the Frizz O berries back to the supermarket and demand a full refund under the Fair Trading and Consumer Guarantee Acts. Mainland TV and other TV channels have broadcast documentaries that show some Chinese foods use human sewage as a fertilizer, and that there are many other questionable practices with little regulation on food safety in China. SuJohn, another Nelson-based berry company, said it does not import any berries from China and is in fact very upfront with customers as the country of origin is printed on the SuJohn berry packets. Manson, who is part of the Nelson family-run SuJohn Berries, said the lack of information from MPI had caused the whole industry problems, when it now appears only one company importing Chinese berries is the problem.
I think it's going to affect everyone in the berry fruit industry, particularly with the lack of information, how a consumer is able to feel safe when brands aren't able to go out there and say, look, it's this batch affected and it's been removed from the market, with this uncertainty out there.
Jetstar is Nelson's newest airline, with its inaugural flight JQ371 landing in Nelson this week. Launching their new route from Nelson on Tuesday, with both CEOs of Jetstar Australia and Jetstar New Zealand present, offering locals a promise of all-day, everyday low fares. It all seems to be a dream come true for Nelson travellers, with $9 one-way fares on offer for a limited time. Regular one-way lead-in fares between Nelson and Wellington are $45 and between Nelson and Auckland are just $49, making a considerable saving even compared to Air New Zealand's grab-a-seat fares. Mainland was there when the first commercial flight landed at the airport. The aircraft passengers and officials disembarked to be greeted by Broad Green School's Kapahaka group inside the terminal. We caught the official launch of the airline at Nelson Airport.
I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Grant Kerr. I'm the head of Jetstar for New Zealand, and what a great and fantastic welcome by the school group here just now. It's just quite humbling to, I think, anyone who gets that experience and opportunity to come and be welcomed into a community like that is absolutely fantastic. I'd like to acknowledge Mayor Rachel Reese here today. Thank you very much for taking the time and attending as well. I think being a local, it's great to come back into into Nelson, back into the lovely area. We did have a little bit of a weather problem coming in, but we've done a full instrument approach coming in, so it was absolutely fantastic to get the aircraft here on the ground and everything, so it's absolutely fantastic. It's great today with our inaugural flights here into Nelson, and obviously, so the support we're seeing now from the Nelson region is absolutely fantastic, so they've been looking forward to this inaugural flights now for a considerable period of time, so it's great to be here. Before I go any further, I'd like to introduce David Hall. David Hall is the CEO of Jetstar Australia and New Zealand. So I'll introduce David to come up and say a few words. Thank you, David.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for the wonderful, wonderful welcome to the Broad Green Intermediate School, their cultural group. What a welcome. I've never seen anything like it. Thank you very much to the group. It was truly exciting. To Mayor Rachel Reese, lovely for you to be here today. To Rob Evans in your airport, great to see your stats here, mate. 6 airlines, 7 destinations, 282 flights per week, and we're part of that and very delighted to be part of that. It's also wonderful to be here in Grant's hometown. He's told me about this beautiful place called Nelson, and I get to see it firsthand today. So that's really exciting with our inaugural services. I must call out Rachel. Rachel was with us in August when we did the commercial launch in Wellington. Rachel got up on the stage and she said, so delighted that Nelson's part of it. We can hear the cheering from Nelson right there. Well, I can hear it today firsthand, and I'm really delighted for the area of Nelson that you now have choice. You've got competition, sustainable competition. We're flying here now. This is the inaugural services, more to come in February, but to have chosen Nelson as part of 2 new routes today, that's a rare honour for us, and we were grateful to be able to do it. It's a magnificent day for Jetstar. It's an historic day, and congratulations to Grant and all his team here, Team New Zealand, for making it possible. We've launched a regional airline in under 6 months. It was July when Alan and your Prime Minister John Key, stood in Wellington and said, Jetstar's coming to regional New Zealand. Woohoo! Then in August the fares went on sale, and in one day we sold 20,000 fares. 20,000 in one day, and a lot of those to Nelson, which is fantastic. Since then we've sold some 50,000 fares. 30,000 of those customers will be travelling for less than $50, many as low as $9. So that's really exciting to be bringing travel. It's not only an historic day today for regional New Zealand, but it was this very day in 2005 that we launched our first international service from Sydney to Christchurch. And I say first, I emphasise first, because that was the first ever Jetstar international service anywhere on our network. Fast forward 10 years and we've got a broad international network, some hundreds of services weekly, flying all over Asia Pacific. And New Zealand has a very warm place in our hearts, in my heart and the team's heart. This is where it all began, international services to New Zealand. And so that's got a warm place in the history books, but a warm place in our hearts as well.
It's a day of celebration for Jetstar because a lot of planning over quite a short period of time, but an intense period of time. Commitment and teamwork delivered this result to our region. And it's a day of celebration for people in Nelson. When the opportunity for Jetstar to come into our region was announced, people immediately got behind the bid for Nelson to be one of the destinations. And it was competitive. There was no hesitation. People stepped up and they said, this is what we want for our region. We want choice. So we said more people, more often, more flights. And when you look at those numbers, boy, Rob, you've really got it happening in this gateway to the region. It's going to be busy, but we like busy. This is a growing region. Population growth, business growth, tourism growth, it's all happening here. But for that to be sustainable and for it to continue on into the future, we really need the commitment and the partnership with airline companies like Jetstar. And so that for me as a mayor of this city is a delight to be able to have achieved that in such a short space of time.
A Tasman family are left reeling after losing everything, including a beloved family pet dog, in a house fire that broke out late Monday morning in their rental property of nearly 20 years. The Platt family, Father Steve and 2 children, Kieran and Melissa, were uninsured and now have to face starting from scratch after they were in the middle of changing insurance companies. The fire caused thick black smoke which could be seen billowing into the sky from Kina, according to one eyewitness. 4 fire appliances attended the scene, along with 7 tankers which worked in a relay to bring water to the house, getting the water from a nearby dam. The intensity of the fire was so great that multiple crews from around the region had to use breathing apparatus to fight the fire, finding the house in a state of collapse when they arrived at the scene. It is the 3rd house fire within a week in the Motueka and Golden Bay areas that volunteer crews have attended, after another house fire that took place in the Little Sydney Valley in Motueka and the Old Woman farmhouse of New Zealand artist Chris Finlay's son and his wife in Golden Bay, which was also gutted by fire last week. It is understood a temporary house has been offered to the devastated Platt family until the end of February next year, and they are now trying to find the essentials with which to furnish it. Mainland understands that a Give a Little page titled Help for Steve has now been set up to help the family. You can find a link for this Give a Little fundraiser on our Facebook page. The weather turned it on for the crowd of around 150 peaceful protesters who made their way from the beach into Hunanui to walk their way around Rocks Road, ending with a crowd of around 350 by the time they arrived at their Anzac Park destination. This protest march was one of a global one to help voice concerns about the impending consequences of doing nothing before the beginning of the climate change summit being held in Paris this week. The protesters were asking for stronger emission targets from world leaders. Prime Minister John Key is at the summit but has joined the US position of wanting a non-binding agreement on climate restrictions, which leaves the door wide open for countries to ignore any emission restrictions. Nick Smith arrived at Anzac Park and spoke to the crowd.
Well, the big concern with climate change is both the increase in temperatures and the way that impacts right across the biological nature and the economy. So we've got crops like kiwi fruit, like apple, like hops, that depend on the temperature being in a particular range, and as a consequence of the sea level rise, it increases the risks of new diseases as well as the suitability of those crops for the region. The second issue is around sea level rise. Now there's a bit more uncertainty around that. The estimates that I'm given as Minister for the Environment is somewhere between 0.3 of a metre and 0.9 of a metre over 100 years. Now actually large parts of Nelson are quite low lying. As that sea level rises, that will increase the infrastructure costs, and most importantly and the most significant impact will be the frequency of major flood events where businesses and homes that would otherwise not be affected by a storm would be as a consequence of those sea levels being higher.
The Nelson Provincial Museum launched a brand new exhibition this week around Women of the Empire. Chrissy Small went and spoke to the new museum CEO, Lucinda Blackley-Jimson, about this new attraction.
Lucinda, a brand new exhibition for Nelson. Tell us a bit about it and why it's such an important one.
It's a really exciting exhibition for us to be hosting. It was put together by a wonderful couple in Australia from Dressing Australia, who are textile collectors and curators, and they've focused on the women of war, because most of the exhibitions that we feature the guys who are fighting overseas, and to our knowledge this is the only exhibition that actually focuses just on the women.
Now I see we've got a few local names here as well.
Absolutely. If you follow me around here, we can show you the costumes to do with Mary Newlove. Now she had a tragic story. She was a mother from Takaka who lost 3 children within 1 week, 3 sons in Passchendaele. And we were very honoured to have one of her direct descendants, Gary Newlove, join us at the opening last night. It was very special.
Okay, so look, we've got all these wonderful stories and with the local connections as well. Tell us, how long is the exhibition on, and is it free?
It's free to enter, as all our exhibitions are at the moment, so take a moment to enjoy it over summer, and this exhibition will be on until the 1st of February.
Right. Do you have a personal costume here or a personal story that's one of your favourites?
There are a couple of costumes which are absolutely gorgeous, which I'd quite love to wear if only they weren't historically precious and if only they're a bit larger. So there are some really stunning ones. The costume around here for Lady Anna Stout is one of my particular favourites. This beautiful green velvet number over here. Just the embroidery on the work on that is just stunning.
It is, isn't it? The detail is absolutely, and the fabric, the beautiful velvet. So anyone who's interested in dressmaking as well as history, this would be a perfect place to come and have a look and enjoy this exhibition.
Absolutely. Anyone who's at all interested in fashion, in social history, in costume design and textiles, home sewers, you'll all love it. The stories of women of empire reveal a remarkable and diverse group of women during World War I, including 7 from New Zealand. If I could use one word to describe these women, I'd take it from the wonderful texts in the exhibition, and it would be plucky. These were plucky, tough, smart women, and I'd add enduring, of hardship, hard work and tragedy. Many of the women gave war service in the form of nursing, one of the professional options to women at that time. We don't think of women being on the front line, but this literally did bring them into the line of fire, as attested by the story of Hilda Steele. She witnessed 9 of her female colleagues die after receiving a direct hit by a shell in adjoining Trent in Abbeville, 1918 on the Western Front. And this is Teresa Butler, who was in Belgium working as a staff nurse when the country came under attack. She made a daring escape from the Germans. This is Safia Hussein, who was one of the first nurses from the Red Cross for Turkey, and she was a Red Crescent nurse, and she was at Gallipoli looking after the Turkish soldiers, but she provided nursing services to people from whichever country they're from and help people from both sides. And it's amazing to have this costume here to really acknowledge at this particular time as well that humanity has no borders.
There seems to be a lot of women here who actually did a lot of service for those countrymen who put their lives on the line. There's a lot of nursing, obviously. Women were the primary nursing caregivers at those times. It's significant, isn't it, with the historical way that the troops have gone out there and the women have been right behind them, if you like.
Yeah, the women were right behind them, and as soon as the war started, women were involved in fundraising, they were nursing, they were helping out every way that they can. We've got a lovely story over there also of Maud Butler, who wanted to fight on the front line and who tried to sneak away to war twice, but she was caught.
A new set of navigational rules for boaties are set to go into force later this month, and I spoke to Harbour Master Dave Duncan about the safety aspect of these rules. Dave, there's a new law coming out for Christmas, a Christmas present for boaties. They might not think so. It gives the Harbour Master a bit more teeth out there on the water. Can you tell us a bit more and inform the boaties for this Christmas, please?
Yeah, no, and thanks for the opportunity, because what it really does mean is that the Harbour Master's staff, the Nelson City Council people, have the authority now to infringe someone who really is flagrantly or blatantly reckless out there and endangering the lives of others. You know, the irresponsible skipper that doesn't have life jackets for his people on board, the irresponsible boatie that allows his passengers to do stupid things like bow riding, for instance, people who go jet skiing and they tow a water skier without a lookout. You know, all of those things are things that we see are dangerous for the participants, have been proven in the past to lead toward accidents. So we're pretty keen to ensure, firstly, that the education is out there, and that's, you know, why we appreciate this opportunity, because we do believe a lot in education. We put a lot of time and effort into it, and I'd have to say that in the last sort of 5 years that I've been here, we've seen a huge improvement in the behaviour of people on the water, and people coming from out of town coming to enjoy the Nelson region. We're very grateful for that, but we still see, despite all of the effort we put in, the idiot, you know, and it's the idiot that we want to just look. If you won't learn, if you won't be educated, we've got the ability now to hit you in the back pocket, and that's going to hurt. And so hopefully that'll help the education process, you know.
And is it a graduation of fines, of level of fines, or is it just a flat rate?
No, the fines are structured, but they, you know, you get fined once for one thing. It's not going to be 3 times the amount the next time you do it. But what can change is you can get a fine for not carrying a life jacket. You can get then another fine for not carrying a life jacket fit for purpose. Yeah. And then the second time you're caught, you can get a fine for endangering or potentially endangering the passengers on board, and those fines are very different in size, and so they do ramp up. If we continue to find that somebody's not going to be educated, the damage to the back pocket could just get worse and worse, and that's just, we don't want to go there, and we know that the boaties don't normally want to go there, so we're all about education.
Is it like in the car where the driver is responsible for his passengers to wear a seatbelt, so the fine is, or now the fine is actually given to the passengers if they're over the legal age? Is that the same for this law?
No, look, the skipper's responsible. The skipper's responsible for everything. He's responsible for the safety of his passengers. He's responsible for the behaviour of his passengers. You know, and he's really held accountable under the law now, and that's the way it should be, because, you know, he is the last safety resort for people that are going with him. And so if he's going out there and endangering lives, then I'm sure they would want us to be down there and educating, and if he's not going to be educated, then let's use some heavier sticks.
Sure. And like the police are targeting speeding over the Christmas period, is there a personal gripe that you'd like to see less of?
Well, that's always a great question. What we've seen is a huge improvement in the people carrying life jackets, and so we very rarely come across someone now without one. What we'd like to see, of course, is them wearing them, but, you know, that's another step. The speed in the marina is the main thing for us. You know, that when you go speeding through that marina, you endanger not only yourselves, but other people in small craft, and also the people who live on their vessels. And, you know, they're not expecting a big wave to come past and rock their homes. So, you know, people can get burnt, people can have accidents that it wasn't the intention, but it's the consequence. And so, you know, we're just really going to target that speed, just like the police.
Dave, you're talking about enforcement and basically using the stick. Are there any carrots to make people behave and do the right thing?
Oh yeah, well look, thanks to NPD, I mean we're able to pull up now to your boat. The harbour master staff are really enjoying this. We'll pull up alongside, we'll ask if you've got a list of 12 safety items, and we'll tick them off, and if you've got the majority of those safety items on your vessel, we're really pleased to be able to give you a 12 cents a litre voucher discount on your next fill up for that, so up to a maximum of 200 litres. So for your boat, that can be, you know, that can be quite a saving, and NPD and Nelson City Council have got behind that, and you know, that's been well received. And not only that, for the kayakers and paddle boarders, if again you're out there and you've got your flotation belt on or you've got a life jacket with you, then the harbour master staff just might pull up alongside and reward you with a coffee voucher, compliments of the hire paddle board place in Tahunanui. So, you know, we think those are great little incentives. We're very grateful for the people involved in them, and they are all part of the education process.
That's fantastic. Maybe the police should take a leaf out of your book, maybe.
Well, yeah, maybe the police could, but you know, every time I got pulled up, I could, you know, a cup of coffee or a discount voucher for speeding. I just don't see that happening.
Well, you could get one for not speeding.
Yeah, if I got one for not speeding, and the police have run a campaign like that before. So, you know, we took a bit of a leaf out of it, because I remember a few years ago they used to stop people and give them a bit of a merit and a talk up for behaviour, you know, good road safety. So we'll try and do the same thing on the water.
The arrival of the annual Christmas tree at Nelson Hospital took place on Thursday this week, and this year it was the turn of pupils from Clifton Terrace School to decorate the tree, helping to bring in the spirit of Christmas for those who will be passing in and out of the hospital's main entrance. Chrissy Small caught up with those involved in the hospital foyer. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Welcome to Smugglers Pub and Cafe, open 7 days a week with free parking all day. Our lunch menus have that old-fashioned flavour where we treat you like treasure with the food you'll savour.
We cater for children, grannies and granddads too, with special rates and privileges given to the elderly lunchtime crew. Our staff are friendly and kind and want to see you all come back time after time.
Daytime or evening, it doesn't matter. Give us a call on 546 4084 and we'll be happy to spoil ya.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
Sit and Be Fit is on at the Victory Community Centre Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. at the Victory Community Church, 238 Upper Vanguard Street. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Hi everyone, I'm Malcolm Harris from the Facilitators. We now look after sales for Mainland TV, radio, Sky and online. New Zealand On Air's latest Colmar Brunton survey confirms Mainland's large multimedia audience. If you're in business or want to put a message out to everyone in the Nelson Tasman region, plus nationwide on Sky or worldwide online, please give me a call or see our website at www.mainlandtv.nz.
Welcome me hearties to Smuggler's Pub and Cafe, famous for hearty meals, craft ales and a friendly service way. Sensational seasonal menus with meals all day and evening too, or sail in for a snack with special menus for young smugglers and you. Settle in for a jolly old time, relax and enjoy our award-winning dining and lovely fine wine. Decked out in an old worldly way, we're open 7 days. Book or come on in to 8 Muritai Street, not far from a beach walk or swim. Phone 546408.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Nelson Tire Center, great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer, all types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
Christchurch's top 10 holiday park, situated on 5 hectares of beautiful park-like settings. Only 5 kilometres from Christchurch town centre. 10 minutes from Christchurch International Airport and minutes away from Northlands Mall and all its facilities, including a 24-hour supermarket. And just across the road is a great variety of restaurants to choose from. Christchurch Top 10 Holiday Park has been a family-owned business for over 40 years and a proud member of the Top 10 Holiday Park Group, New Zealand's premier holiday parks chain. Our Top 10 Holiday Park is world-renowned as a family park and provides a wide range of facilities such as a heated swimming pool, bike hire, free barbecues, a jumping pillow, trampolines, a family games and TV room, and wireless internet. Accommodation options cater for a wide variety to suit all needs, from tent and camper van sites to family, luxury and corporate motels. And to make life easy for wary travellers, we even have a drive-through camper van check-in. At our Top 10 Holiday Park, we even provide housing solutions for earthquake-damaged houses and help with insurance approval. Come visit the Christchurch Top 10 Holiday Park, one of New Zealand's premier holiday parks, and experience all that Canterbury and Christchurch have to offer, right on our doorstep. Christchurch's amazing Top 10 Holiday Park. Top experience, always.
Meadow Park, located on Cranford Street near the main North Road, Christchurch.